I'd like to welcome Shanae R. Banda. Now, let me just quickly give you a quick précis of what she does, or rather going through her career. She's by passion, she has a passion for writing, creativity, and making a difference. She's also she's an expert in communications and digital marketing, but this began in high school. So I'm going to take you through all of this. Then we're going to get to talking about social media marketing and how important it may be to you, and how it could be great for your brand, and how you can use it effectively, not just to sell your product, but to sell yourself. Shanae, welcome to Morning Rush. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Now tell me, I hear this, you started at school, okay, high school, where you founded the Writers Club, and then you started something called Spring, a youth-led initiative that brought young people together to engage in impactful charity work. I mean, you started young doing all that.
Yes, I did. I've always loved pioneering stuff. I've always enjoyed being like at the forefront of things, and if there's something to do about something, I want to do it. I don't want to just sit and be like, I wish we had a magazine here.
Yes, it's true.
You know, so and then with so that's what happened with the Writers Club at school.
Right.
And then with Spring, it was one of those where we sat down and we're like, can we do something? And we did, and it was like a group of young people from all over Harare.
How old are you? This is high school, right?
So with high school, I was doing my A-levels.
Okay.
And then with Spring, I was waiting for my A-level results.
Okay, all right.
Waiting to go to college.
Right, but then you continued though, because you just said it just now. You said we saw, if I said there should be a magazine, you then went and created a magazine when you moved up into tertiary education. What happened there?
Yes, so when I was actually waiting for my A-level results, I was working as a receptionist somewhere. So this one day, I'm really bored. In fact, before, when I was still in like the lower high school, I always wanted to have my own magazine. I watched 13 going on 30, and I was like, I want to be Jennifer Garner.
13 going on 30.
Right? Yeah. So it was just something that I always really badly wanted to do. So now this one day, I'm bored to death at work, and then I go next door, get a couple of magazines. I read this article, and it's saying, so this is back in like 2010.
2010, okay.
Yes. And this article was talking about how the future of business is going to be on the internet, and businesses needed to like come on board and like take on this. So I was like, well, even though I don't have like brick and mortar for my magazine, I can have an online magazine. Right. So that's how Spring started, and that's how True African Woman started.
So True African Woman magazine, it's an online magazine. Is it still going strong as we speak?
No.
No, shame, man. I love the title, the True African Woman magazine.
Right? But then as like time was going, I kind of felt like with how the political like conversations were going, like the nuances and things, it would be complicated to define who's an African woman and like what I mean by that.
Wow.
And
that's a whole other discussion for another day. And plus, it's probably not me, it's the best person to discuss that. But then you work with Larry, my good friend Larry, on Three Men on a Boat, right? I love that. I love Three Men on a Boat.
Yes, and I love Three Men on a Boat too. So this is just after college. My history teacher links me up with him. History teacher from high school. I think high school had a lot of influence on my life.
Yeah, it seems like high school did. Yeah, it seems like, this is good, I suppose. I suppose you need to teach people need to teach anyone from that age to give them the tools to go forward. So I suppose it's a compliment to your teachers, I suppose.
Guess, yeah.
So how was Three Men on a Boat? And then, of course, you joined the comedy, Simuka Comedy.
Yes.
But that was more as a publicist, wasn't it? Rather than a comedian, of course. Yeah.
Yes. So with Larry, I joined during Shoko Festival. So I was covering that event.
Okay.
And then I got introduced to Simuka Comedy during a comedy night. And then they were like, come visit us at one point, like come and see a show. So I go and visit them at the Book Cafe when it was still there.
Yeah, so that was nice. I love the Book Cafe.
Right?
Bring it back. Sorry, let me keep quiet. Yeah,
you should lobby for it.
Please bring it back. Yeah, I love that place. Yeah, anyway.
So I go for a show and I loved it, and I blogged about it, right? I wrote an article. They hated their show. They hated their performance. So they're like, if you could write something like this,
about something that was so bad.
Yeah. Come and join us. And I was like, well, I've got nothing to lose.
Now, this takes me to what I really, really want to jump into, because I would assume that, I called you an expert in social media marketing, as well, of course, you're a blog sphere individual. This is something I think that even now our youth, as much as we say that we're on the internet, we use our smartphones and we're texting each other all day, I don't think people still know how to effectively social market, whether it be their own brand or it be their products. I mean, what do you think about that sphere in Zimbabwe?
I think people are slowly starting to get on board to like what it means and what you need to do. Sometimes I see people get on trends that are not really brand friendly, but then it's like people are learning. And then personal branding, sometimes you might think that what's good for you is good for me, but it's not. We first have to understand who we are. And I think that's also the struggle that I sometimes face, where I want to be authentic. I want to like put out a personality or a persona that is genuine. And people struggle with that because they'll think, okay, I need to be like an Insta model and then put out this kind of persona that's not them, and then it kind of conflicts, and then they've got like...
And you've got to maintain it, don't you? You've got to keep it going and keep it going.
Right?
Yeah.
So now people end up getting into like depression. We've got stuff like that. People actually commit suicide because they can't keep up with, what they started off with. Now, because now your audience wants to see it.
Social media pressure can lead to depression and other mental health.
Because, sometimes you'll have trolls hating and they'll have like all the negative stuff.
In fact, is that, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm one of those guys that never reads the comments or whatever I post here, because I just don't want to read it, because one little comment, you could have 1,000 nice comments and one bad one, and that's the one that you read.
And it's not even just the comments, even like the views. So even on my personal WhatsApp status, I've disabled the views because I don't want to go like, okay, so today 40 people read, and yesterday
was 5,000.
Right?
Yeah. So what advice would you give anyone then? Let's take the youth. The youth, obviously, or even companies. You've done work on corporate campaigns. You worked for humanitarian NGO organizations doing some of their campaigns. What advice would you give someone, particularly in terms of social media management, social media marketing, and even whether it be about their own product or it be about their own brand?
I would say research. I love research. That's like one of my favorite
Research
things.
On what?
Research, first of all, like self-awareness. I always do this whole SWOT analysis. What are your strengths, your weaknesses, right? Okay. So like, for example, I could say, who's Shanae? Shanae is bubbly and this person, right? Bubbly, cheerful, effervescent. And then what kind of persona do I want to put up on social? So if I am someone who's always laughing and cheerful, do I want to have like pictures that are, like Vogue kind of pictures, or do I want to have like cheerful pictures?
I see. Things that suit your personality.
Right? Because people connect with that. Yeah. Have you ever seen how you'll be like, this person has changed. It's not them. Because you can feel that there's... And then research on the people that you want to aspire to be like. If you're a model, for example, maybe you'd go and look at what Tyra Banks is doing, what Naomi Campbell did, Kendall Jenner.
What about this concept, though, that a lot of people are doing now, which is fake? There's a lot of fake media where I can take a picture of me at a beach or me on a first-class airplane or something, or even be promoting or being an influencer. These are all things that are real issues, but also can be very dangerous as well. Social media can be dangerous, let's be clear.
It can. It's like a knife. A knife can be a tool or it can be a weapon. Right? So on the fakeness, you can't really control what everybody does. What you can control is what you do. And if you can be I don't know who it is who said that change begins with you.
I'm sure somebody famous, I'm sure. But it wasn't us.
Somebody important.
It wasn't us.
Yes.
But basically then, unfortunately, as you know, this is very fascinating to me because I really think social media is important. But the bottom line is that youth, particularly youth, women, whoever you may be, you should start looking at using social media as a tool, marketing tool, not just for your brand, but even for your products, and you must use it more effectively. Is that what you're...
Because we've got about 50% of the population on the planet right now using the internet and social media, and the population we have in the world is like 8 billion. So because of globalization, your market is not just in Zimbabwe. Your market is everywhere. right?
And you can monetize it now.
Yes, you can.
Shanae Banda, thank you, ma'am. It's been a pleasure having you. It's really been a very interesting conversation. Well, there you go. Social media marketing, looking what your brand is like, what you should do, some great advice. I'm sure you can contact Shanae. She is an expert in it, and I'm sure she's available for consultation and creative thoughts, correct? Aren't you?
Yes.
There you go. I'm sure you can find her on social media and other platforms.
Yes.
I mean, you must be, because you're on blogs and everything. All right, so look out for Shanae Banda.
Konapo, Ipapo pa ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.